Hi, it's me again, Micah, and this is Wellspring Week 6. We're continuing the study on having a teachable spirit. We're looking specifically at listening, anger, and applying a teachable spirit. This week, we're looking at James chapter 1, verses 19 and 20, and verses 22 through 25. So James chapter 1, starting in verse 19. My dear brothers, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. For a man's anger does not bring about the righteous life that God desires. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like a man who looks at his face in a mirror and after looking at himself goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But the man who looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues to do this, not forgetting what he has heard, but doing it, he will be blessed in what he does. So ask your athletes, what does this say about having a teachable spirit and why it's important or what difference it makes? On Tuesday, you're going to describe the truth that listening is not easy because as we looked at last week, we all think we know the best. We have to make ourselves stop and really hear. After you listen, what does the scripture say you should do before you speak? Or how do you listen? Verse 19 in James 1 says, everyone should be quick to listen and slow to speak. And we see the benefits that that'll have in our lives. If we're quick to listen and slow to speak, and we listen wisely, we'll actually be slow to become angry. So this is a part of the result of having this teachable spirit as we would listen carefully and not just respond off the top of our head. Now we see what happens when we are too quick to speak and too quick to consider what people are saying. We become angry. Ask your athletes, what happens when you become angry? How it plays out for them? Does it work when they become angry with their siblings, or angry with their parents, or angry with their friends? Is it the best way to proceed? The scripture teaches us here that it's not. On Wednesday, ask the question, in what kinds of situations or with what people do you tend to speak quickly and say something that you might be sorry about later? In what ways could the habit of listening and considering and speaking slowly, or listening and then speaking, help you to respond more appropriately in those situations and to improve your sometimes difficult relationships? Now, we all struggle the most with the people that we live closest to, the members of our own household. So they'll understand that they get angry with their parents. They may get angry with their brothers and sisters and all the people that they rub shoulders with daily. Ask them what difference it would make in their lives and on their team if all the players really listened and considered the coach's instructions and his corrections before responding. They'll see that it'll make a big difference and be a real positive change on the team. On Thursday, look at verses 22 through 24. These give the vivid example of what we're like if we listen or just hear the word and walk away without applying it. I would have loved to have made a video of me rising out of bed with my beard sticking out in one direction, my hair sticking out in the other, looking in the mirror myself, shrugging my shoulders, driving in my car to my congregation, walking up and standing in the pulpit with the congregation looking at me, standing in my 1800s nightshirt. I would be someone who just looked in the mirror and forgot what I looked like, forgot what adjustments needed made in my life. When we hear the scripture and we don't actively apply it, that's the way we're living our lives. Walking away, we're a mess. Everybody else will see it, but we don't. So verses 22 through 24 provide that example for us. So ask your players, in what specific ways have you listened to God's teaching but not obeyed him? this will be a reality in their lives. It's a reality in my life. It's a reality in your life. God speaks, and we, being stubborn people, are slow to listen, and we're slow to apply what he says. And there's always consequences to that in our lives. So, ask them, what steps do they need to take to stop deceiving themselves, but to apply the word accurately and aggressively in their lives? Maybe they need accountability. Maybe they need help, and they need to be praying for one another. So, help your players to explore what a teachable athlete looks like in light of these scriptures. May God bless you, and may God bless your team, and may he be glorified in all of your work.